What's up, folks? My name is Melvin, and welcome back to this amazing place that we call the internet. Now, it is so weird. It is definitely weird. Just talking about COVID related issues, because there's just many ways to look at it, and even when you're not talking about things that are necessarily with COVID, because right now I'm going to be talking about, how conventions are shutting down and how restaurants are shutting down, and just sort of what that means. Like how do we socialize in just ways like that? Just simply just talking about, what is post COVID going to look like. It's such a strange thing to talk about. It's something we never needed to really discuss in a lot of detail, but I guess now is a great time to do so, because, we kind of do need to figure out how to move on. And that's why I'm making these videos. And the reason for this YouTube channel now is, I want to express as much positivity as possible, as much hope for change as possible. So if you believe in that message, I would ask you to please subscribe and please share these videos, because they do mean a lot. I really do put myself in these videos. So without further ado, let's talk about this article. And I'm going to be reading it, for the first time. So we're both going to experience it. ReadPop announces permanent shutdown of Book Expo and BookCon. Now, I'm not much of a book reader. I tried to be a book reader in 2020, but because of my new job, I just don't have the hours anymore. But yeah, the permanent shutdown. So they're not going to do any more book expos and book cons. And the reason why I wanted to talk about conventions is because, that's been a relatively new thing. That was a thing that was on the rise. You started seeing more and more conventions. And I feel like that's how people started, getting to know their community that they're a part of. Because the one thing amazing about the internet is just how many niche groups there are. And because of conventions, that gave you like a real life way to, like, it gave you like a physical way to meet one another and talk to other people and just express yourself in a safe environment, and it's unfortunate that can't happen anymore. ReadPop has opted to permanently shut down its Book Expo and BookCon events, citing the continued uncertainty surrounding in-person events at this time due to ongoing coronavirus pandemic as the main factor. The pandemic arrived at a time in the life cycle of Book Expo and BookCon where we were already examining the restructure of our events to best meet our community's needs, event director Jenny Martin said in a statement as reported by Publishers Weekly. This has led us to make the difficult decision to retire the events in their current formats as we take the necessary time to evaluate the best way to move forward and rebuild our events that will better serve the industry and reach more people than we were able to before. Martin continued, "We remain committed to serving the book community and look forward to sharing more information in the future." All right, so that's, the story there. So, because of COVID, we're trying to find new ways to interact with each other, and we're trying to find new ways to continue socializing. And I do think the internet is a great alternative. I don't think it should be your main alternative. I really do think physical communication with people is one of the best ways to, socialize and things like that. And because of that, because I feel like the internet, when you're talking to someone, it's always going to create some kind of barrier. And what I mean by that, maybe it's defensive. Maybe it's more aggressive. I've definitely noticed people who, because of that kind of internet, there's like a certain wall or just like a certain chain of connection, they allow themselves to be a little bit more rude online and things like that. And, from time to time, I don't see a problem with that, but I have seen some aggressive examples of just toxicity and threats, just things like that. So it's not a perfect place. I definitely think it really depends on the people you talk to and just what kind of people they are. But it's a great start. it's still, I would maybe, the new type of gathering is now, I would say like Discord and things like that. And even like Twitch live streams. Live streams are a great way to express your niche and to have an audience there, either talking to each other or talking to you. So there are a lot of great alternatives rising up. I wish I could give a great way to, meet people in person. If COVID wasn't a thing, I would say, bars and gatherings and comedy clubs. I would say those are great ways to meet people, somewhat in an environment where people's guards are dropped a little bit lower. But I can't really recommend those places because of the situation, as much as I want them to be open. And I just want to talk about one more, I'm not even going to talk about the articles, but I'm just going to show kind of another example of something we don't really need, but it's something we've been comfortable with and something that we want, like restaurants. We don't really need restaurants. It's funny because I've been seeing a lot of, whenever I get home from work, I drive my way to a Popeyes, and that Popeyes is always has like a long line. That's a lot of people's dinners, but we don't really need it. It's not a necessity. But look, so the company NPC filed for bankruptcy. So now it's like uncertain with fast food restaurants. And the thing is that if fast food restaurants are not thriving and they're actually losing a lot of business, what does that say to mom and pop restaurants? What does that say to more old fashioned restaurants? And again, it's not something we need, but it's been a luxury we've been taking for granted for so long. And now we need to start finding alternatives. And again, I don't really have an answer for alternatives. I guess actually a really good alternative, I would say, is just start cooking, start learning how to cook, and then start inviting people over, not a large group, but just, 3 of your good friends, and just start taking turns cooking meals for each other. Now, I wish I could do that, but everyone I know in the new town I live in, I'm roommates with them. I wanted to meet people after I moved, and I couldn't. I couldn't because of COVID. I moved in April, and that was kind of the everything started shutting down in April. So can't really do anything about that. But we have to just kind of regroup. We need to regroup and just sort of figure out how to do things from here. And maybe that does mean not socializing for a long period of time, but when things start opening up, what do we do? What do we start doing? How do we sort of get back in that routine? And how do we keep ourselves mentally healthy during that time? Because I do feel like internet interaction, it can be a big help, but it's just not the same as interacting person to person. And if you do interact a lot online, that's totally fine. I'm all for it, but I always feel like there's a disconnect whenever I'm talking to people online. Like, I don't know who they really are. Like, as much as you maybe hate the quirks you have when you're socializing with people online or not in person, that's who you are. That's the kind of person you are, And if you want to change it, you can go change it. But you shouldn't be ashamed of who you are. You shouldn't feel embarrassed. There's a lot of things about me that I never used to feel embarrassed about, but now I do. I never felt embarrassed. Like one thing is that I'm comfortable like showing my face, and I know there's a lot of people online who aren't comfortable showing their face. But sometimes I look in the mirror and I always say like, I'm not as good looking as I thought I was, and it's just those types of criticisms that like are unneeded, and I just bring it on to myself. And it's just one of those things where I need to start pointing into a more positive direction. And again, that's what I hope this YouTube channel serves as a way to just we can look at, I can look at things that maybe seem bleak and maybe are bleak, but that shouldn't stop me from trying to find a good message, a good way to find hope, and a good way to inspire people. Because the world already is just such a weird, messed up place. Like it always has been, and that's never been an area of debate. But what is an area of debate is how are you yourself going to handle that situation? Are you going to look at it negatively, let that negative emotion affect kind of the rest of your day or rest of your week or just your personality and things like that? Or can you look at the article, try to problem solve it, and, try to figure out how to have the rest of the day with a smile, things like that. Things that can, brighten up someone else's day. You never know how much a smile can brighten up someone else's day. So with that said, that's this video. I really thank you for watching. Seriously, if you made it to the end of this video, congratulations. Put it in the comments. I would love to see if you made it to the end of this. All right. But yeah, take care, folks. Have a wonderful day.